Catherine, you identify novelty and curiosity as brain activators for dopamine and motivation. What specific leadership practices encourage curiosity rather than the fear of failure?
Yeah. One of the questions I encourage leaders to ask a lot is the what if question. So, for example, somebody will say, "Oh, that'll never work." We've all heard that response, right? Oh, we tried that, never worked. We've tried it many times. And and I love to say to them, "Well, what if it could work? What would it need to look like?" And it does begin to open doors of possibility. We know that when you put somebody in a state of curiosity, they do release dopamine, and dopamine enhances learning. So there's some brain science to this stuff too. So that's one of the things, and and I think it's a little bit to what you said earlier, Brian, about just believe. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, but if you believe in somebody's potential, then you're okay asking the questions that we want to ask. Like, hey, what would what would you like to learn? What would be most challenging for you? What sort of opportunities would you like? So I think it's just I probably I'll be curious, Jake, if you're similar or not, but I would say one of the most frequent, I guess one of the most frequent skills or mindsets that I work with my coachees is getting curious. Just come with
Absolutely.
curiosity. And with teams too. It's like we are, brain science also tells us because the brain is such an energy hog, we go to automatic way more of the time than we don't. Marketers take advantage of that all the time, and we have a lot of thinking shortcuts. And and now I've lost track of where I was going with that. But anyway, yeah, that we come with all these assumptions. That's where I was going. We come with all these assumptions, and we don't stop to challenge them. When I facilitate strategic planning with folks, I love asking the question, what assumption are you holding that might be limiting your success? I tend to ask a lot
Yes.
more positive questions, but I love asking that one. I remember working with I live over here in Ag World, Salad Bowl, the USA, and so I've done a lot of work with produce companies, and I asked that question, and their response was, well, we have a belief that broccoli will never be profitable. Broccoli, there's a whole history about why produce companies grow broccoli. It's to do with nutrients in the soil and blah, 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 blah. And
Oh,
I said to them, okay, what would it need to look like for you to make a profit on broccoli? And they made a profit that year. They just changed the way they thought about it. Now, granted, I will say they probably changed some of the way they accounted for it. Accounting, I have learned, is more of an art than a science. But nonetheless, it got them thinking about, okay, we have always thought about broccoli. We need it for other reasons. It was important for our overall profitability, but they had just written off broccoli as being anything that would bring in profitability in and of itself. And I think the more we can get people to challenge their assumptions, to slow down their thinking long enough to challenge and what am I missing? What, as leaders, I think that's a great question. Shoot holes in this. What am I missing? What perspectives do you have that I don't have? That's about creating psychological safety too, right? Where the leader, I was um, talking with another client yesterday. He's a high-powered executive. We do these Hogan assessments. You probably do too, Jake, with folks, and it's a wonderful leadership assessment tool. And I said, the likelihood is you're gonna be a big presence in the room. You're probably a little intimidating. You got a lot of charisma. And I said, if you want feedback, because he said how important feedback was to him, I said, you're probably going to have to go out and get it. don't expect them to come to, or don't just say, hey, I'm open to feedback. You're going to need to ask these kind of questions to make it safe.